You know, it's a real shame what the devil has done to us, to all of you. You know, with the child molesting thing, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg, but, you know, through the child molesting thing, and child porn is like the cocoon for a child molester. You know, and that's why it's illegal, and that's why it's so banned, and that's why it's done in Russia, where there basically is no law. So, and other places around the world. But Russia seems to be the mega center. And, you know, it's just... And a lot of those children you see on those videos, they're killed after they make the video. You know, they're not treated well. They're not sent home to mommy. You know, and in a lot of those countries, mommy's paid to have those children in those videos because mommy's desperate for money, and they know it, and they use that against them. And if they have a cute little child, well, that's money in the bank. You know, and it's so horrible because, you know, you're non-child molesters. You're non-child molesters that would work well, extremely well with children, extremely well as a teacher or a mentor or a coach or something in those capacities. They avoid those jobs. They avoid being those mentors because a simple allegation is a death note. You know, and it's one thing to be a child molester and be accused of child molesting, but if you're not and you're accused, I can't think of a worse nightmare. And try to unprove it once the words leave the mouth and put those words back in the mouth. It's just the genie's out of the bottle, and that's it. You know, there was a teacher, and there was articles in the newspaper, and he was a theater teacher. You know, doing a play, and he went up to one of the girls. I don't know how she wasn't old, she wasn't young, but she was enough to be in a play, whatever. And he had to hug her or something like that in that way to teach her the scene, you know, as part of the play. And he touched her, he hugged her, where he showed her how to do the scene and make the play a good play, you know. And he got accused of all these things. And the only thing that saved him was he had tenure, and the investigators didn't believe that he had done really anything wrong. But because of the allegation, he had to pay like $20,000, a fine of some kind, or whatever they called it, as a result, plus pay a lawyer to defend him. And I don't know if the union picked up the lawyer bill, but there was a lot of money involved, and for a hug, You know, and he had some backing because he had tenure, otherwise they would have fired him on the spot. You know, and it's just that's what the devil's done. You know, he's created us not our own fathers. You know, your own father has to be careful how he holds you, how he touches you in a public place. And now even the kids are in on it. You know, how many girls accuse their father of molesting them, and the father did absolutely nothing, but the daughter wanted a new cell phone, and the father wouldn't give it to him. So this is the daughter's revenge. You know, it's like, oh, you don't want to give me a cell phone? Okay, I'll call the cops and tell them what you did to me. You know, and who's going to tell the little girl, no, your father didn't do that? You know, and it's just, it opened the door to a pile of shit. And it's just so difficult, you know, and nobody wants to put a child molester in a place where he can molest children, ever, for any reason. But like with the Catholic Church, they found child molesters and they just moved them to another city. They didn't think the new city had children in it? Was children less city. I mean, I don't know. And that's why they're such evil people, because that's what they did. To protect themselves, not the children. You know, they want to open themselves to lawsuits and allegations, so it's better to let him keep molesting, and when he gets caught, we'll move him to another city. When he gets caught there, we'll move him to another city. It's cheaper that way, you know. It's so evil. The evil is transcending, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing to the Catholic Church. They're only getting what they deserve, and the Pope is the boss, so when he gets the guillotine, don't cry for him. Root for the guillotine. And look, I told you, I'm the nicest person in the world to nice people. And I think if you see me around children, I'm very nice to children. Look, I'll spank a child because I don't believe in spoiling them, to a point. And I won't spank your child, but if I had a child, I would spank it. But not to abuse it, but to teach it, I was abused as a child like you wouldn't believe. My grandmother found my father beating me up in the crib. So that's where my child abuse started, in the crib. So, and I turned out a pretty good guy. So, don't ask Putin that question, but, I turned out a pretty good guy, so whatever. Again, it was the devil telling you, oh, you're abusing your children. And then we end up with horrible children that abuse us forever and ever.